Hey good looking, welcome back to the channel. This month's BYOP is a really good one. 10 contestants will be challenged, put to the challenge to see whether or not they stay or go from our collection. As always, I'm collaborating with Kelly Rettenberger and Kara from Beauty in the Frizz, so go check out their videos. They're going to be linked down below, and Lock Maiden is also joining us. But more about these single eyeshadows. I have found 10 single eyeshadows in my collection I've been wanting to dump off for a while now, but I haven't really decided whether or not, and I haven't given them the shove yet. So who will stay and who will go? Let's find out. This is going to be a little bit different. We're not doing a look with any of these because it's not particularly a curated palette. It's more of a should they stay or should they go now type. So we'll look at some eyeshadow swatches on the eyes, and then I'll make my decision as to whether or not these 10 single eyeshadows should stay or go. Starting off with the first one from Copaceitcs, I bought the shade Kitty, and it is supposed to be an iridescent multi-chrome. You guys can see when I'm swatching this out on the eyelid, there's really not much multi-chrome that's coming across. It's pretty chalky on the eye, and I have a light medium in the summer skin tone, so there's really not a whole lot of pigmentation coming out. So, sorry Kitty, you gotta go. Next up, I have the shade Solar Flare from Coastal Scents. I kind of like the name, but I've also got the shade Lemonade from Cine Grace. When I swatch Solar Flare on the eyes, you can see that it's really fun. It's a pretty yellow. It's very bright, like lovely dandelions, but it lacks some opacity, and I just really question whether or not it would be a good fit for when you're using a matte yellow or a satin yellow in the crease. You can also see when you swatch it against the shade Lemonade, Lemonade does have more of a shine and shimmer to it, but also it's got a lot more intensity and a lot more opacity, so I don't think there's a need to keep both of them. Solar Flare from Coastal Scents, you gotta go. Okay, looks like we're 2 for 2 at this point, so let's see if I can keep going, and let's see if we can get all 10 of them gone. The next up on my eyelids is another Coastal Scents shade, Marmalade. Again, really cute. I like the shade name. It's kind of looks like orange marmalade. It's a matte orange. I'm kind of in like a yellow orange mood lately, so I picked this one up the other day. I used it. Gotta say, not my fave. Not my fave. The formula disappoints, and it definitely lacks in opacity. So I think for this particular shade, she gotta go. And I've got some shades from other brands that I can hang on to, like Colored Rain. I know I have an orange, and then also I'm pretty sure I've got an orange in Cine Grace, although I think it's more on the neutral side. Following up, code 2319 from Copaceitcs. Again, another one of those iridescent multi-chromes. For whatever reason, the formula just didn't quite hit it for me. I put it on the eyes, and you can see that it's very patchy when it goes on. It's supposed to have this like milky white undertone, and then that way you can see the the shimmer and the iridescence over top, but unfortunately I'm not seeing enough of it to keep it. And if I'm being 100% truthful, I think all 5 of these, I bought a $2 Tuesday set, so I think I only paid $14 for these shades. Unfortunately, they're just a miss for me. I think I'm probably going to get rid of all 5 of them. You gotta go. 2319, out of here. All right, let's move on. The next shade, Cine Grace Brigade. I have all 3 of Cine Grace's multi-chromes. You're going to see here, as I put this on the lid, it really it disappoints in the worst way. There's really no multi-chrome shift that I can see. It lacks a little bit in opacity, and also the formula's pretty crumbly. Even though the flakes aren't big, it still really crumbles. I get a lot of fallout. I'm not sure. I'm really torn on this one, folks. I really want to keep it just because the collector in me wants to keep all three of them just for comparisons for multi-chromes in the future. I'm really not sure whether or not she should stay or go. Folks, leave a comment down below whether she should stay or go, Brigade. What do you think? Should it stay in my collection for duping purposes and also just for collection purposes and to be able to see swatches in the future, or should I just go ahead and let it go? The other two multi-chromes I'm okay with, but this one I never got along with. All right, let's move on. As always, if you're finding value in this content, please make sure you subscribe and go check out Kelly, Locke, and Kara's video. I want to see what they dump off, what stays, what goes. I gotta know. So head on over to their channel and check it out. Luxy Beauty's got this shade called Berry Sexy. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, Berry Sexy is like, are we trying to, you know, NARS it up a little bit? When I put the shade on my eyelid, it has so much black base to it, you can't really see the shimmer. You would think with a, you know, a golden / maroon shift that those are two opposite ends of the color spectrum, that you would see the difference, but it really just kind of looks maroon on the eyes. I don't think it's even being sold anymore. I'll double check at some point, but if it's not being sold anymore on the website, there's no reason to keep it in my collection. I know that some of you might have subscribed just based on the fact that I own some of these shadows that you still have as well, but I'm sorry, she's just not up to performance. She's not meeting the standards. She's got to go. Okay, this is going to be a shocker because I do love the actual shade, but Cine Grace is Faithful hard pans on me so much that I'm constantly scraping it just to get a swatch out of it. Arm swatch wise, it really needs to be built up in opacity like many of other Cine Grace shadows. I really think that it's not one of her best performing shadows. She has other shades in her collection, in her single shadow collection, that do a lot better. Upon application on the eyes, though, I was completely 110% surprised. Now, granted, I've used this in the crease, but I've never used it all over the lid. When I saw this all over the lid, I thought it was just stunning. And I found that it didn't hard pan on me when I used my brush, so I think it's just one of those finger ones that if you get the right kind of oils, you can really, you know, louse it up and get it to hard pan. So Cine Grace is Faithful. She's gonna stay. I like her. I've always liked the color. You guys know that. She's featured all the time, so hopefully that's not a surprise to anybody. So I think we've got one maybe, one yes, and 5 no's. So that's good. We're getting somewhere, folks. Next shadow is actually coming from Devinah Cosmetics, and it is I'm Just a Dandelion. I don't think these are sold anymore. I think this collection was a collection, and I think it was a Wizard of Oz bundle. I think she discontinued the collection. She might be selling them as singles, but I would have to check. And I know this one's discontinued because I have a little X on the back, which definitely means it's discontinued. I'm assuming that's what it meant anyways. When I swatched it on the eyes, though, boy, she performs just like a Devinah shadow should perform. I really would have to go through my collection to see if I've got some others, but I do think I have Makeup Geeks Houdini, Makeup Geeks, I'm trying to think, Sorcery's pretty close to it, but I think Houdini comes pretty close, and I really like those two a lot better than the Dandelion ones, so I think I'm okay letting it go. I think I can put it in a bundle and just let it go. There's nothing really spectacular about it. It just is a really pretty good blue shimmer. All right, let's move on. In no particular order, I got another Luxy Beauty shadow, Juice. I think Juice, maybe I got it confused with another shade, but when I put this puppy on the lid, this performs exactly how I wanted Luxi's Berry Sexy to perform. I like Juice, the name, better. I like the way it performs. I like the way it shimmers. It's got a sparkle and a glitter to it. And I don't know what I was thinking when I picked this out and thinking I was going to dump it off, because I don't know. I just like it. I think it's really pretty. She's going to stay. She's going to stay. I was surprised. I thought maybe I messed up, but I think it was the Berry Sexy that I was honing in on, and the idea that a dark shadow shimmer really isn't something I use a whole lot of. And with these darker bases, I thought, well, since we're on a roll, let's go ahead and grab this puppy out too. But I actually like it, and it shines exactly how I want the other shade to shine. So she's gonna stay. So we've got 3 staying, we've got 6 leaving. Will our last contestant stay or go? Pause the video. Tell me whether or not Devinah's Ding-a-Deary is going to stay or is it going to go? Okay, Ding-a-Deary. I believe I used this for a dupe for Pat McGrath's Celestial Divinity. Let me swatch it. Yeah, I think I did. This is a little patchier and it's also a little less purple and shimmery, but it's okay. When I put it on the eyes, got some fallout. And again, there's so much black base, there's just not enough of the shimmer coming through. I think deeper skin tones would probably not have a problem with this shade as much, but definitely a light medium skin tone. No, and I do think that it's probably, I know this is featured in the Wizard of Oz collection, Ding-a-Deary, I believe so. I don't really love it, and I've got Pat McGrath's shade. I've also got my Flower Beauty Jungle Lights. I think it's the shade called Amazon. So I've got plenty of this stuff. I don't need it. We're going to dump it off. So that's pretty good declutter. I mean, 10 shadows. What'll stay, what'll go. We had a nice little chopping block there. 7 shadows left and 3 stayed. If you guys are finding value in this content, as always, please subscribe down below. Go check out Kelly. Go check out Kara's video. And go check out Locke to see exactly what they chose in their palette chopping block to see whether or not they've got some shadows in their collection that they can get rid of. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.